Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tactical Preview United against Bournemouth. And what an unbelievable difference a week or so makes. Before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over, United was way adrift from top four. Neutral goal difference. Now we are herring down it. We are only a few points away, a couple of good results, and we'll be right in the mixer. And we have a very positive goal difference at the moment as well. So big up to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for completely changing the mood. I still don't think United have got what it takes to become anywhere near challengers, and I think we're so far off the pace. But it would be nice to see United finish somewhere around where I actually truly believe we are, and that is around about the third or fourth best team in the country. We are sponsored by Perfect 10, and we're going to get into the mix in that a little bit later on. This is the last opportunity this month for you to come in and win a United shirt of your choice, home, away, third kit, if you want a number on it or anything like that lot. All you got to do is top my league. The link for that will be in the description below, and if it's not, then Cameron's going to go stick it in for me in a second. And we're going to get to that at the end of the show. But before we get into all that, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on at United at the moment. So far, we have seen us completely transformed from a reactive, counter-attacking side to a team that presses from the front, from a team that wants to win back the ball in the opposition third, turn over possession there and relentlessly attack. The amount of shots that we've been having recently has been absolutely fantastic, and we are looking in fine form for it. Now, Bournemouth have shipped a lot of goals of late. They've not been in a good run of form of late, and partly I think a lot of the reasons for that is because of who they've played. In their last 6 games, they beat Huddersfield 2-1. They conceded 4 at home to Liverpool. Lost 2-0 on the road to Wolves. Chelsea beat them at the Bridge. They did manage to pick up a win against Brighton, who were down to 10 men, and then Tottenham slung 5 past them on Boxing Day. So they've not had a great run of form, but that's because they've played some pretty tasty teams. And I think this is the difference with Bournemouth at the moment, is that when they come up against a team that they're supposed to beat, they generally do. When they come up against a team that they're probably not going to beat, they generally don't. That's probably down to a limitation of what they've got in terms of playing staff. They do play some good football. They do like to knock it around and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And I don't think Eddie Howe's philosophy is going to change in any way whatsoever. He's going to come to Old Trafford on Sunday looking to do the same sort of thing. And I think, and I also kind of hope, that we're able to do what Tottenham did to him. I don't think we'll quite put 5 past them. I think we're going to rotate a little bit. In fact, let's talk about the key player for Manchester United at the moment then. So I think coming into this game against Bournemouth, you're seeing Paul Pogba absolutely reignited. 2 goals, 2 assists, 2 games. Graham Souness is out crying in the woods. He didn't have a clue what to do. And it's fantastic. This is the Paul Pogba that we was hoping to see. A team that's built around him, not a team that's kind of trying to find the right way to stick him in. And because of that, we're seeing a very effective Paul Pogba. I thought the first half he was fairly quiet against Huddersfield, but in the second half I thought he really showed up. So I think Paul Pogba's going to be the key man. Jesse Lingard I thought was going to be the key man against Cardiff, and I think he's going to be a big part of what Solskjaer does at United. But I think in this instance it's going to be Paul Pogba. Now I'll go straight into my starting 11, and this is this team that I expect that we're going to be fielding. I do expect changes. Ollie alluded to that in his press conference, and I've got the notes from his press conference coming up in a second. But starting 11 wise, I think it's now time that we're going to see a little bit of rotation. He mentioned Antonio Valencia coming back, and he will be captain. Didn't mention when he was going to be back. I'm just taking a punt that we haven't quite yet found who wants to play at right back. And after all the negativity that we've had, another player that could do with a little bit of a resurrection in his United career is club captain Antonio Valencia. Remember when that guy used to cross the halfway line and bang a cross in? If anyone can make him believe and can do it again, it's Michael Carrick, and it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I wouldn't like to see Tony given an opportunity. It's time for Bay to come out of the gulag and play some games, and I think Bay is an upgrade on all of our centre-halves. It's time that he got that opportunity. And when we talk about Wilson again in a second, he will be a key man for him. Alongside him, Victor Lindelof, who I think is looking great at the moment, and left-back Luke Shaw. Ditto. A very important part of what's going on with both Pogba and with Marshall. They're forming a real partnership along this left-hand flank. In the middle, I'd like to see us play a 2-man midfield. This isn't 2 sixes that we would have seen under Jose, where they would have been restricted to this side of the halfway line. the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 4-2-3-1, as you saw a lot with Mulder this season, is very much in the opposition half, and I don't think you need that third midfielder against Bournemouth. I think two will do the job. Now there's a new name in there that's getting a start, and that's Andreas Pereira. I think he needs his opportunity. There's a lot of talk of him going out on loan somewhere. I think if he's going out on loan or he's not going out on loan, a game for him would be a really good chance to show everybody what he can do. He was warming up until the third goal went in against Huddersfield the other day, and as soon as that third goal went in, you knew it was destined to happen, because as soon as the third goal went in, Angel Gomez started putting his shirt on, and Andreas came back. So it was obviously preordained that if a third goal goes in, Angel's going on and Andreas isn't. So I think because of that, I think he's probably going to be given an opportunity. That might be from the bench, but I think with the rotation needs that we've got at the moment and some injuries and things like that, I think you might see him given a start. You could also see this same starting 11 fielded with him playing as a number 8 alongside Paul Pogba in the midfield and Jesse pulled out onto the right hand side. It's quite a flexible formation that we could play if we fielded this 11. In the middle, in the number 10 position, Jesse Lingard, massive part of what Ole's doing at the moment with United, and because Lukaku won't press or is unable to press, Jesse will be given the license to press ahead of Lukaku and put pressure on the fullbacks and the centre halves when he's got the ball. That's why I want to see him play down the middle a little bit. Marshall was only sick at the weekend, so he's not injured, so he's not got anything physical that he needs to overcome. As long as he's got over the virus or the cold or whatever it is, he'll be straight back in the mixer. And the same sort of goes for Lukaku, because it was, I believe, a bereavement. The compassionate leave that he's had, he's not needed to get back to fitness, although that's an argument you could make. Because he's not overcome an injury, at least, I think he'll probably be back into the starting 11 to show what he can do. And I'm very excited about what Lukaku can do under Ole's management as well. Now, you'll have noticed one of our best players, and arguably, I think someone that probably deserves Player of the Month for December, Marcus Rashford, is not in the mix here at the moment, and the reason for that is that I believe he got a bit of a knock in the game on Boxing Day, but he was also ill on Boxing Day and played right through it. So I think that he'll probably be pulled out of the limelight. I expect he'll probably be on the bench, but if he's not even well enough to make the bench, that might be the opportunity for Mason Greenwood to step up to the bench. Now, there's a lot of other players that could make the bench as well in terms of those not featuring. I'm not dropping Matic. I think he's been fantastic in the 2 games. I'm just trying to use other players in the squad, but I won't be shocked to see him. Ditto for Phil Jones, and then Young, Delo, or Pereira, and even Juan Mata, I think, could all feature as well. So I do think that Ole's going to rotate. I have no idea how that's going to go down. I guess we will see. Let's have a look at the press conference quotes then, and here's what Ole had to say in his press conference today. As I mentioned earlier, he did sort of mention that Antonio will be getting the armband back once he comes back into the team. This one that we've got here, then he says, we've got 2 or 3 absolute top talents in the under-18s that are knocking on the door. We've had a couple of injuries and a little bit of fatigue in some of them who would probably have been involved, because we've had quite a few injured players. I think there he's talking about a little bit of Mason Greenwood and a little bit of Tahith Chong, and I do think over the next month or so you're going to see them feature in the first team. Let's have a look at the next one. So the next one that we have got is then obviously talking about Paul Pogba. He says Paul's a top player. He's one of the top players. I think that's definitely his catchphrase, isn't it? Attacking players in the world. Attacking wise, he's done really well, but he's a big lad, can win headers, tackles. He's been the same as the others. The attitude has been perfect, and that's key. He also mentioned a little bit about trying to build a team around him. And then the final one that we have got then is talking about the 3 players that are likely to come back, because we've not had a lot of training since. So we had yesterday off. Today's the first day back. Romelu, Anthony Martial and Alexis Sanchez were in light training yesterday, so hopefully they can be part of training today. That is today. Let's see how they come through. Now, I didn't bring Alexis back into my first team because he has been away with a specialist. I think when you look at Martial being ill and Romelu being on compassionate leave, I think those are players that you can go, okay, they can come back in. I think there's more stages to it when you've been out seeing a specialist like Alexis has, but I am very excited about what Alexis can bring to this side. I'm going to come to the questions with you guys in a quick second as well and see what you guys are saying, and also the lads on the Patreon group too. Sean says babyface honeymoon period will end soon. Will it though? Start Sanchez, Martial and Rashford, says Anthony Martial. You might see that. This is just the 11 I gave is just my opinion on what I think is likely to happen. I do think it's probably time for Marcus to have a rest. If you're enjoying it, it's over 1,000 watching. Please give it a like. Let's go over 500 likes. I would really enjoy that. Helps the video get found. Javier says Lukaku should stay away from the team. I think that's a bit unfair, mate. I don't think towards the end of Jose's reign, a lot of players was looking good. Lukaku's definitely put a bit of timber on. I know that they're working about that. So I would like to give the guy an opportunity. Ollie said everyone's going to get a chance, and I think that's perfectly fair. Shabtrack says, Herrera first team for you now. Yes, he's got to be. I think he really gets this. Jordan says, manager change won't make a big impact. That's a fact, mate. That's a statistical fact. Now, just because it can work at one club, why does it not work for Thierry Henry at Monaco? Statistically, the manager change has very little to do with it. What does have a big impact is the players that play in the 11. Now, some of the players that was ostracised by Jose Mourinho being brought back into the team, Pogba potentially being one of those, can actually have an impact. You can get an impact on morale, and a manager's job is to actually make the morale better inside a squad and manage those personalities. And if he's doing that, then you might get a bit better out of them. But at the end of the day, Ollie's not going to come in and turn this United team into title winners. He's going to get us where we should be. This team is good enough to be third or fourth best in the country. I don't think anyone's arguing with that. We're not good enough to win the title. And that's the problem, is that you're not going to be good enough to win the title unless you start to bring in players that are going to be good enough to win the title. That's the difference. That's what I mean by a big change. You can certainly have a change in mood, and you can certainly have a couple of better results. But when you talk about a big change from a manager, you're talking about turning Bournemouth into title contenders just with a manager. As you might be even seeing with Pep Guardiola at the moment. He's come in, won a title, gets called the greatest football team ever. He's the greatest manager ever. What if he only wins one and bounces? He's just done exactly the same as Pellegrini. No one's calling Pellegrini the greatest manager ever. If he was that good a manager, why is West Ham in the position that they're in? Why is Ranieri able to go to somewhere like Fulham and not turn the fortunes around? You only piss with the cock you got, and that's what a manager has to do when he comes into a club. Do I prefer Lindelof to Rojo? Says Joseph. I think there's an element of... I like Rojo's crazy element. I could definitely say that. I think Lindelof is a calmer defender, and I think they're both pretty decent on the ball. I think Rojo can probably handle that aerial threat a little bit better. I don't think they'd be terrible together in the grand scheme of things. It might be a good option. Barath Barry says, who should we buy in Jan? Is Koulibaly the top priority? Hopefully on Monday, we've got a shortlist video coming out for you. We've just recorded that today. We'll be editing that up tonight. So hopefully that comes out on Monday for you. So check it if you're coming around for that. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And get the notifications on so you do see that when it comes out. Got 5 centre-halves for us to look at. Koulibaly is one of them. Abhishek says, should Darmian be given an opportunity under Ole? His first few performances were decent. Yeah, I think it's fair. Everybody in this squad should be given an opportunity under Ole, but we definitely have to ship out the ones that aren't good enough. If they weren't good enough for Jose, and they're not good enough for Ole as well then they're not good enough. It's as simple as that. John says, do we buy Toby or promote Axel? Why not both? Axel's not ready to put in 40, 50 games a season right now, is he? So I say you get in Toby, someone that's probably got another couple of years tops left, and then you promote Axel and you start getting him in and get him 10, 15 games this season or next season and slowly ease him in. I think he could be absolutely banging for us. Rifleman 7 says, sell Lukaku and make Rashford R9. I was really pleased to see the comments from Ole after the game the other day, where he come out and talked about the runs that Marcus were making and mentioned that people aren't picking those runs up. Right, should we go and check out the perfect 10? As I said at the top of the show, you guys can win £10,000 simply for entering this and picking 10 teams. It's totally free. All you got to do is sign up and you can win 10 grand. And if you don't win 10 grand, myself, I'm giving away a shirt for whoever is top of my league. So we'll check that out next week, who finished top of the league for December. But it's as simple as this. You go on the link in the description, you press play now, and then there's 10 fixtures in front of you and you say home win, draw or away win, and it's as simple as that. So let's have a look at this then. I'm going to say away win for Brighton. I'm going to say a draw from Fulham and Huddersfield. Birmingham and Brentford, I'm going to say home win. Forest away win. Norwich are always in this. No screaming. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say Villa are picking up a win against Preston. Wimbledon against Blackpool. I'm going to go with a draw for Wickham and Scunthorpe. Taking Crewe and Port Vale, and I'm going to say there will be 25 goals. And that is me. It's as simple as that. If you would like to... Oh, better sign in. Get rid of that. If you would like to enter, the link is in the description below. It's totally free to enter, and I am giving away prizes every single month as well. There's loads of people in there. Come and get in the mix, and you never know, maybe next season we'll even be upping the prizes to a first, second and a third for the month. So just come and enter. It's simple, it's free, it's very easy to do. Let's answer a couple of more questions. Let's see what you guys are saying in the Patreon group. Let's have a look. So we have got... any idea if Angel's cousin Enzo at Benfica is anywhere near as good as he is? I don't know anything about him, mate, I'm afraid. Omar says, would you take Alderweireld? Now rumours of a 25 million price tag. I absolutely would. And what do I make of Elder Militao, kid from Porto as a centre-back options? I am watching centre-backs at the moment. I don't have a fully formed opinion just yet on Militao. I'm going to keep watching him, and I'll let you guys know when I can. Have I heard anything about any youngsters playing at the weekend? No. And as I mentioned with the Get Ready for Reading lies, which it was just pure lies from the Mirror, I haven't heard anything with that. As soon as I hear anything, you guys on Patreon will know first. Curly6 says, think Roshan could be used at any point soon since he's training with the first team. Here's the thing, right? A lot of the times the cameras aren't there at first team training, and when the cameras do arrive for first team training, it very much is the 18 that are going to play that weekend that are training. But I obviously talk to a lot of the youngsters, and they're like, oh, we train with the first team all the time. Like, literally all the time. There's like 40, 50 people in training sessions. So the 23s, the 18s, they're very much involved in first team training on a very regular basis. So I think it's only when the pictures come out, everyone goes, oh, Zach Burnley was training, or Brandon Williams was training. You're like, they always are. So I don't think it's as crazy as everyone thinks. It's just when the cameras are, United are quite selective about who's involved in the photos. So I don't think there's much to be read into it. But I think Roshan's probably good enough to be given his debut. I think at least that. Just give the guy his debut and see what happens. And we were talking about this in the office earlier, like, Ole doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to give a debut out and then completely jettison a player like, I'll give you a debut, sling it for 3 months. So I wonder what the plan is for Angel between now and the end of the season. Could we see an Angel Gomez brought into the team? Could Angel play as a number 10 and Jesse on the wing against Bournemouth this weekend? How good is it to have questions like that we don't know the answer is? Not a definitely, not absolutely not, that's not happening. Because under Jose, if I couldn't sit here and go, oh, is Angel going to play this weekend? Because you'd have all laughed and I'd have been like, yeah, he's not, is it? But I think it's a legitimate question. What's the plan now for Angel? What's the plan now for Tahith Chong? What is the plan for Mason Greenwood? Because I don't think that he's giving these as a token gesture. I think he really rates them, and I think they're in the squad on merit. Joseph says, Mata is our best passer. I think Mata might be our best passer, to be honest. I really do think he might be our best passer. What I think you've got to look out for, though, is he can't press and he's not quite as dynamic. And depending on the team you want to be, I believe the words that he said is, we want to be the fastest, most aggressive team in Europe by the end of the season. I don't think Juan Mata's in fast or aggressive bracket. He's in the lovely hugs and top passing and mint free kicks bracket. Gomez replaces Mata Greenwood replaces Lukaku. Again, like, could Greenwood come in and stay in? I don't think he's the sort of player you'll see a bit of and then you'll see him go out on loan. I think when he comes in, whenever that time is, he is good enough to stay there. And all the people are like, just like James Wilson, just like Welbeck, just like Rashford. Like, Rashford's failed. I mean, Rashford really hasn't failed. But he is doing 2.5, 3 times the output of goal and assists that Marcus was at this level. This is a real genuine talent. This is, I've said he's better than what Sancho was at this level, and he is comfortably better than what Sancho was at this level. Sancho had about 0.6 goal for every game, 0.6.5 for every game, whereas Mason's more like 1.2 goals and assists per game. It's phenomenal. It's ridiculous. Gomez can surpass Foden if Ole keeps playing him and Pep continues to give Foden 5 minutes at the end of every third game. Can we sign Frankie de Jong or De Ligt, says Barras? I'd love both, mate. Apparently both of them were scouted by United and told that United should sign them, and we didn't. AB Tech says, how are you? I'm alright, thank you. We need to buy Eriksen. Eriksen's playing at another level at the moment, isn't he? He's absolutely fantastic. Brahim Diaz to Madrid confirmed. Has it been confirmed? That's a big loss for City, and it's an indictment on what they're doing with their academy, because he is unbelievably good. Ty Tim says, I rate Lukaku. He'd be perfect for a Solskjaer all-out attacking team. He needs that golden boot. This is what we've got to remember. The Lukaku that we signed is a guy that gets in behind the defence and is a guy that operates as a bit of a fox in the box sort of player. He is a one-touch finish kind of merchant. He's not a guy that's going to beat 6 players and bury it. He's not a guy that's going to hold it up, bring loads of others in there and, sit players off. He's not that sort of target man. He's a finisher, and he's pretty good at that. We've got to get them in there. Koulibaly going for less after racist chants. Yeah, I saw that. It's horrendous, wasn't it, this weekend? Italy's got a real problem with it over there, big time. Do I think Koulibaly will sign because of the problem with racism going on in Italy? It's got to play a factor in, hasn't it? You don't want to be playing your football and having that sort of shit coming at you all the time. Absolutely. I'm totally buzzing with the idea of Sanchez, Lukaku and Martial back. Well, it's a brilliant conundrum for Ole to have in training, isn't it? If he's seen them in training and he's seen them put through the paces, I mean, the 2-11s that we can put up against each other, it'd be really interesting to see that sort of stuff. Can I see Guardiola going down the shitter and leaving by the end of the season? Be very interesting what happens in January, won't it? If he's not given any money, does he spit his dummy out and go down the sort of meltdown we've just seen happen with Mourinho when he's not got what he's wanted? It would be very interesting. Can this United be as good as 2008? Not without about half a dozen signings, mate. No, let's not get carried away. For me, Mata coming to the end of his career, Angel will be perfect to take over in the long run. I think, like Mata should be given the opportunity. He's not really a winger. We play him wide. Angel's not a winger, even though he came on the left wing. He's not a winger. You'll see the best out of Angel, giving him the sort of role and positioning that someone like Iniesta gets. That's when you'll see the best out of Angel Gomez. What's the story with Koulibaly? There was monkey chants and all sorts of bollocks in the game with Inter, I think it was, this weekend. Yeah, not good. Don't overhype United. Before Solskjaer came in, you beat Fulham 4-1. Now, this is obviously the sort of fucking donut that doesn't watch football, because the difference in, say, the 5-1 victory at Cardiff and the difference in the 4-1 victory over Fulham was night and day. Yes, we scored a lot of goals in both games, but the performance level was miles and miles and miles apart. And I would take winning and playing shit all day long, but when you play like we played and you put up the numbers that we put up, then it's not overhyping it, it's calling it for what it was, which is a top-class performance. Now, I don't think any United fan's getting giddy. I'm not getting giddy. I think a 30-year contract would be absolutely perfectly acceptable for give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. I am joking, am I? But I do think if you give Ole the opportunity that we have, and he goes 5 for 5 in these first 5 games, he puts us into the next round of the Cup, then he goes to Tottenham, and he turns that result around for us against Tottenham, absolutely fantastic. And I would be very happy if he'd managed to do that. Yep, like the video, as it says down here, wherever it is, right here. Get liking the video, we're going for 500. But what happens if he beats Tottenham? If he beats Tottenham and he manages to finish this, if he beats all them top sides, considering this is a brand new side that's failed largely this season, it's not his side. If he beats all of them, gets us into a decent position in the league, goes to a decent run in the Champions League, why wouldn't you give it him? It's not like people were saying, oh, it's just the same as Di Matteo. It's not the same as Di Matteo, is it? Because United aren't the same side. It's different. Mata has been completely wasted at United, probably. Who do I think will be our director of football? I think this Paul Mitchell stuff's very interesting. I don't know a hell of a lot about him, but I do know that the way that Leipzig recruit and sell players on for a profit probably appeals to the Glazers. So, you know. The Victorious One says, I know it's been quite romantic, but getting Dybala in the summer would be a game changer. Again, it's like Angel. Angel's been out on the periphery and in the quiet a little bit under Jose, because there's not one system that Jose's ever played where you can see Angel coming in and making a difference and being a player in that. If Angel had been at City and there'd have been a manager there that trusted him, he would have looked amazing in their system. But even Pep wouldn't have played him because he doesn't play youngsters either. I think what you've got to look at really is the systems that we're playing now probably does suit someone like Angel played centrally. Will he get the opportunity? Maybe he will, and I hope he does. If we don't get Poch, just stick with Ole. Don't have a good feeling about Zidane. Fair enough. The media is calling the Scousers the unbeatables. They're going to win the league, aren't they? They actually are going to win the league. But we can console ourselves by just focusing on the absolute meltdown that's happened at City. They've spent more on defence than America has in the last 700 years, and they're going to not win a title again. And Pep's going to lose his shit, and that's going to be entertaining. And that's what we're just going to focus on. Liverpool winning the league, big ass parades all around Liverpool here. Not looking at that. We're looking at what's going on at City. At least that's what I'm going to do. If not, we're going to emigrate to Ascension Island, and we're going to lose the internet, and we're just going to like go fishing and surfing and shit for about, I don't know, 44 years. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We're back with United review on Sunday following the Bournemouth game. If you're at the Bournemouth game, come and say hello. And we'll also have the first of this transfer window shortlist coming out on Monday, which is centre halves. Let me know in the comments what other videos you would like to see. Right backs, right wingers, defensive midfielders, box to box, anything like that. Maybe you'd like to see 5 director of football options. Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Check out Perfect 10. The link will be in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.